Following the mysterious prophet's instructions, Thrall led the horde across the Great Sea. Now, after weeks of traversing the raging seas, the Orcish horde has landed upon the savage shores of Kalimdor. With their stolen ships broken and drowned, the orcs cautiously venture inland, wary of the unseen dangers lurking within the crags of the desolate land. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Warcraft 3 at the beginning of the Orc Campaign for Reign of Chaos.
War Chief, our ship sustained heavy damage when we passed through the raging maelstrom. It's unsalvageable.
I knew it. Can we confirm our location? Is this Kalimdor?
We traveled due west as you instructed. This should be it.
Very well. Has there been any sign of Hellscream or the other ships?
No, War Chief. Not since we got separated.
Prepare to move out. If our comrades did make it here, we should be able to find them along the coast. I am the War Chief.
We begin the Orc Campaign, the invasion of Kalimdor, with a single Farseer, our first Orc hero. Starting out with Chain Lightning, that is Thrall, the Farseer. Chain Lightning is super good as a nuke. Chains to other enemies, does less damage with each bounce, and has a limited number of bounces. We'll also get Farsight, which is a scouting ability later, and an ability to summon dire wolves.
It must have been smashed against the rocks in the storm.
Honor.
Look, Narok!
Many of the ships have been dashed against the rocks. Some of the crew of those ships have made it out. So we're going to traverse this map and find them. And recruit a couple of new grunts and headhunters along the way. The grunts, by now we kind of get the idea. We have our tier 1 basic melee units and our tier 1 ranged units, like the footmen and riflemen or the ghouls and the crypt fiends. Here we have grunts and headhunters.
Battle took place here. The clay is red with fresh blood.
Is there nothing in this land but dust and carnage?
Let's talk a little bit about orcs in the context of Warcraft. Not before we witness the death of the first Tauren we come across. We're gonna be killing a lot of centaurs. But that giant bull smashing things with a huge totem, that's a Tauren. We'll see more of those in a little bit. Orcs and the Greater Orc Horde, which is like a conglomeration of different races, including trolls, like our headhunters that we have with us, are tribal, shamanistic nomads, originating from a different planet in Warcraft lore.
At least they're prettier than the humans.
That planet being called Draenor. Learn a little bit more about Draenor as we go through the Orc campaign. The first two Warcraft games are dedicated to wars between humans and the orcs exclusively. So for Warcraft 3, the Night Elves and the Undead are new, but the humans and the orcs are old hat. And they are also about how the orcs came to Azeroth in the first place through a gateway called the Dark Portal. And some of the key players like Gul'dan and Ner'zhul, who we will also learn a little bit more about as time goes on. And when they came through the Dark Portal, they more or less immediately began to pillage this new world they were brought to, this world of Azeroth. Well, a lot of the orcs were taken prisoner, like Thrall here, and they were enslaved.
We should hurry. The pigmen say there were other ships nearby.
They were either enslaved directly or they were born into slavery.
I led us here to escape senseless conflict. Now it seems we're surrounded by it.
And this is definitely a more nuanced, more fleshed out side of the orcs that we're seeing right away, compared to the Warcraft 1 and the Warcraft 2 orcs. And that continues. They just get more and more fleshed out as time goes on. They are a lot less one-dimensional. You guys gonna be okay here? Should probably move this whole group of headhunters away from the Murlocs who have snared the grunts. Snare is like a root effect. They can still attack anything that's nearby, but they can't actually move towards anything in close distance. So you know how Medivh has been telling everyone, hey, go to Kalimdor, idiots, there's some bad shit coming? Thrall was one of the people that he originally told to go to Kalimdor. That's actually what the prologue is about. That's the essence of that whole mini tutorial campaign. There is a little bit of story context in there. Just not enough to be worth doing.
I'm glad you're all safe. Were you part of Hellscream's group?
No, War Chief. We were separated in the storm. We only just arrived.
So again, it's get your green Jesus ass over to Kalimdor because bad stuff is coming. That bad stuff being the advent of the Burning Legion. So we've gone from the human campaign, the humans who are still fighting off cadres of orcs, but
For honor.
that campaign was mostly concerned with setting up the Undead Scourge and the Lich King, and Arthas's turn from Paladin to a Death Knight. The Undead campaign continued Arthas's story, showed the fall of Lordaeron, ended up with him resurrecting Kel'Thuzad and bringing the Burning Legion invasion to a head by summoning Archimonde into the world. The Orc campaign here is going to kind of continue on that, even though it feels a little bit more jarring to go from 2 campaigns of Arthas's storyline to this. This is still going to advance the storyline with the Burning Legion and tie some of the undead stuff together even. And also flesh out the lore of the orcs and also introduce Night Elves later. So a lot happens in this campaign. And it's not entirely disparate from all of the stuff that we've encountered so far. After all, the whole point of Medivh, the prophet telling Thrall to come here, had to do with stopping the Legion. Well, we gotta target down the healing ward. That is an offensive one, even though we picked up a few stacks of wards ourselves. And I do believe that healing effect from the healing ward will stack with the healing fountain, so it would have been really hard to bring down the neutrals with the healing fountain and the healing ward going. They probably would have won that battle of attrition. Either way, we have a lot of ways to sustain our growing army now. We have a lot of wards left. We have this Scroll of Protection, which armors everything up around Thrall. And we have the Scroll of Healing, which just does a nice big AoE heal. And also with this new land that we've come to, since we're no longer in Lordaeron or the Eastern Kingdoms, the Eastern continent of Azeroth, we're now on Kalimdor to the far west. With that comes an entirely new tile set, which is pretty refreshing. New biomes. This part that we're in is called the Barrens, which is more or less a big dust bowl.
From Ka, War Chief.
Well met, warrior. Has there been any sign of...
The horsemen are charging! Defend yourselves!
Which,
Loktar!
even for a dust bowl, there's some scenic geography here. It's nice that we just get a little bit more variety, and we'll continue to get more stuff introduced in Kalimdor.
I am Cairne, chief of the Bloodhoof Tauren. You greenskins fight with both savagery and valor. I am intrigued. I am Thrall, and these are my brethren, the Orcs. We've come seeking the destiny promised to us. Seeking destiny? It will find you in time, young one. However, there is an oracle far to the north which might be able to...
North? But there's an army of the horsemen marching north.
What? No. My village is in danger.
I must know more about this oracle.
Follow them. protect Cairne at all costs.
So now we have our first Escort Quest. This is a really short one, but it is imperative that Cairne survives the entire time. If we protect the other two Tauren with him, that's a bonus, but Cairne is the important one. The two Tauren flanking him will try to guard him, and they do output a lot of damage. They're the orc equivalent to knights or abominations, those heavy-hitting tier 3 units.
For honor.
Even more of them down here. I like that there's a tiny one who is a youngblood. And it's just the regular Tauren model, but scaled down a little bit. He's a green horn. He's not, he's an orange horn. In this spot, we kind of have to just hold out for a few waves of these centaurs. Increasingly difficult waves.
The next wave is advancing.
Oh, what is this headhunter doing out down here? I told him to follow Thrall earlier.
We're under attack.
Either way, with our healing wards and all this sustain that we have, we really are not in any danger whatsoever. Now, Tauren, they slot nicely into the Horde because they are also shamanistic and nomadic.
For honor.
So they actually...
Here they come
They
again.
line up with the Horde, with the rest of the Horde pretty well. Also, Cairne, I think, is kind of a fan favorite. I like him a lot more than Thrall. Fortunately, we will not get to control him yet. He is a hero unit for the Orcs called the Tauren Chieftain. So you will get to control him eventually. He's not some random neutral hero.
For honor. We're under attack.
They've brought a champion this time.
And this should be the last wave. We're going to pop that scroll of protection, give everyone a little bit of extra armor. Might not have needed that healing ward, but hey, why take the chance? Why take the chance? This should be the last wave. What aura is that? I think that's Endurance aura? Which is like, oh, I don't remember what that does. It's been so long. So many of these details have just kind of slipped through the cracks.
Your tribe is safe, old one.
Thanks to you, young war chief. But the centaur drove off all the game in this region, and I cannot allow my people to starve. Soon we must head north to the verdant grasslands of Mulgore.
And you fear the marauders will overtake you.
Yes. The devil's speed cannot be matched upon the plains.
Well, if you tell us how to reach the oracle you spoke of, then my brethren and I will escort you on your march.
I am intrigued by you and your people, young Thor. You are more than welcome to join us.
So 2 days later, upon the desolate plains of the Barrens.
This land is rugged and beautiful, much like the place from which my people originally come.
Yes. We Tauren have always held a great respect for the works of the Earth Mother. There are far worse fates than living freely upon the open plains, young Chief.
Perhaps. But my people deserve a land to call their own, Cairne. War Chief, we've spotted a herd of marauders bearing down on us. Cairne, the Kodos are overburdened and must rest. Why don't you remain here and protect the caravan while we search for a suitable oasis?
There's no need to coddle me, boy. I may be old, but I'm not helpless.
Lokrigar, Nogal. What you want, Dabu?
At some point, we picked up
Yes.
a few extra Taurens and an entire caravan of Kodos. Oh, Kodos. Ah, the Kodos. I am nostalgic for this unit type, even though I did not main Orc in Warcraft 3. I was an Undead main.
Positions.
I am nostalgic for Kodos because of another custom map called Kodo Tag, one of the oldest and probably one of the most popular outside of Dota. It's like that and Uther Tag and like Winter Mall Tower Defense and some other really big... I couldn't quite kite that one. Didn't have the movement speed. But yeah, Kodo Tag was fun as hell. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's tag with Kodos.
Kodos must be protected.
Like those 4 plus Cairne are good to defend this. Usually there will be a couple of really small units attacking from the backside.
They shall not catch the Tauren unprepared.
This time, it was beneficial to go and attack them just to get the caravan moving faster, since we were close by anyway. Usually, though, I'm going to ignore them and leave Cairne and the other Tauren to dispatch whatever attacks from the flanks. And the fucking Warcraft 3 map editor and the custom game scene for Warcraft 3 was so... it was so teeming with life, so flexible. So for the most part, we are going to send Thrall and the Orcs way far ahead of the caravan. Like, this is not a threatening force, so we're mostly free to advance forward, take a couple of out-of-the-way neutral camps of centaurs that wouldn't normally bother the caravan, and get some items, and also to just deal with things far from where the Kodo might actually be in danger. In fact, we are going to... let's put the second point in Chain Lightning. This is like it is a nuke a little bit better. For sustained damage per second, leveling the Dire Wolves to 2 and 3 might actually be a bit better. Either way, I like the Chain Lightning a lot. And we will have plenty of mana, especially once we get to hit the shops. If that even becomes an issue, I might wind up just spending the gold that we get in this mission on healing scrolls instead.
Stand and fight, my brethren.
Marauders here worth? No, not really, but might get the caravan moving along. The Kodos actually move independently. Yeah, they were trying to pincer us. Kodo takes a little bit of damage. We can lay down a healing ward if need be, and that will also benefit the Kodos. I'm doing it mainly to get the Headhunter and the Grunt healed up, sustain through this fight. Even though each oasis that we head to is going to be comprised solely of the healing fountain, still worth it just to not lose the Grunt in that fight.
Drumka warrior. You're from the war song, are you not?
Yes, War Chief. Hellscream sent our party to find you, but we were separated when the horsemen attacked.
Don't worry. We'll find them. For now, drink from the pool. The spirits of this place will replenish your strength.
Oh, this music's great! It's really adventurous. We're gonna leave one Grunt behind to heal, because he was getting really mighty low. Actually, he's already back to almost full. Full enough. This Murloc type is a big pain in the ass because he just bounces from unit to unit, poisoning all of them. Now, for each oasis that you come across...
Hold your formations. The Kodos must be protected.
Oh, Cairne's gonna be saying that a lot. It's no problem, though. Especially fighting this close to the fountain where they can just heal up after the fight. Each time they come across an oasis, they will stop and rest there for a significant amount of time, which really allows you to clear almost half the way, half the path to the next oasis while they rest.
For honor.
Just a lot of delay.
Yes. Dabu. For honor.
They will occasionally I think it's every time you run into a forward pack of Centaur, it just automatically spawns a small stack of neutrals behind the caravan. And we're moving again so we can get done with this a little bit quicker. Oh, I think this headhunter might be fucked. I don't want to burn a scroll just for him. No, he's good. He's good. We're actually going to send him back to the fountain, I think. And then he can rejoin us later on. Let's just pull him out of the unit group for now.
For honor. We're under attack!
Oh, well, he died scouting. He died scouting this ambush.
The Kodos must be protected.
Poor headhunter. So this is not a terribly hard escort. For technically our second one, including the one from the first mission. But that's not a bad thing. That, like, an easy escort quest is the way to go. So the weirdest thing about this is how Cairne, by now, is still not controllable, despite representing a hero class, and thus we haven't been given a chance to get a feel for this unit, which would be important heading into multiplayer if you were planning to play as an orc, since this campaign does kind of serve that function as being a little bit of a tutorial. So it's a little bit odd. Oh, that one got away, though. In fact, I think I'm gonna pop this now. Yeah, that's a pretty substantial heal, especially when everyone is just a little bit injured. It's a nice top off.
For honor.
It's fairly important to get that in there and start getting us acclimated to using units like the Tauren Chieftain hero. In due time, though, I think we get to use all three in this campaign, which...
Hail, War Chief. How may we serve you?
Actually, no. We did get to use all three in the human campaign. It's just the Undead campaign where we didn't get to use a Dreadlord. Now we also get introduced to a new unit, the Tier 2 Raiders. Substantially different from anything that we have come across so far. We're going to load up on these. Even going to use a mana potion since we're a little bit low, and grab one more. We have so much sustain now.
Yes.
Hold your formations. The Kodos must be protected.
And the reason that I say the Raiders are different from anything else that we've come across so far is because they are siege units. They are melee siege units. And they also do one other thing that's really useful, which is snare. We ran into that against a pack of neutrals in the first mission, and now we see another function of this root ability. It drags flying units to the ground, much like the Crypt Fiend's autocast. Except this, while not a...
Come, sisters. It's been too long since we feasted on Outlander flesh.
While not an autocast...
Once my wolf riders bring you to the ground, you'll have little chance against us.
It can target ground units and snare them as well, so it's more versatile.
For honor.
And it looks like...
Spirits are ready. Double.
That Raider and the Grunt are still spinning.
Double.
Still up in the air. They'll be there for a while.
Double.
Well, we're gonna move on. Oh, he finally came down.
Let's get on with it.
In the meantime, we put one of the dire wolves into the unit group. Like I was saying, though, they also deal siege damage, or they deal extra damage to buildings.
I am the war chief.
And we also get catapults now, which is the proper siege mechanical unit. Our long-range siege unit, I should say.
Let's get
Now,
on.
attacking the buildings, we'll draw a couple of these Centaur out. We are just going to defend the catapults real quick, while keeping everything out of range of all the guard towers.
Kodos must be protected.
These they can deal with that, no problem. These guard towers, by the way, are the standard orc guard towers. We'll be making a bunch of those for defense missions later on, but I just introduce you to the orc static defense nice and early. Just like spear towers and the towers that humans get. Actually, humans get different variations. They get the arcane towers, the regular arrow firing towers, and the cannons that we saw when we were assaulting Silvermoon that do splash damage. We're going to continue to leapfrog the catapults forward because there's a lot of static defense in the way. Oh, there's still one up on this cliff. So we're going to take a little bit of damage on these catapults, which is somewhat problematic in that we don't have peons to repair them yet. We don't have any workers. But even if we lose all of them, we've extracted value from them by now. There are really very few watchtowers remaining in the mission, so that's not too much of a problem. And in fact, we are coming right up on the final oasis.
The Kodos must be protected. I am.
Also, we're gonna try
leads straight to Mulgore. I fear the caravan will be overrun before it reaches the other side.
No, there's really no chance that we're getting overrun before we hit this oasis. I was going to say we're going to try to avoid having the catapults fight anything that is directly attacking the caravan because, again, siege units tend to inflict splash damage, and splash damage does not discriminate between friend and foe. Now we just have to wait for the slow, laborious walk of Cairne, the Tauren, and these slow-ass Kodos. And give them a little bit of motivation to move faster. Come on, Cairne. Come on, Cairne. Do we have to move? Are we blocking the way for them to hit the trigger point? I think we might be. The catapults are probably at fault here. The big collision sizes. Hey! There we go.
For Doomhammer! Cairne, the caravan will never make it in time.
Let the fury of the Earth Mother deal with these wretches as they deserve. They will trouble us no more. And you, young war chief, are free to continue your quest.
To the Oracle. What is it?
Legends say that it saw the strands of fate as they were woven by the Earth Mother. It alone can show you your destiny.
Where will I find it?
Far to the north, near the shadowy base of Mount Hyjal, lies Stone Talon Peak. You will find the Oracle within the peak's hollow. I will send my finest Kodos to aid you in the journey.
Thank you, Cairne. I will not forget you.
Go with honor, young war chief. May the Earth Mother smile upon you.
Meanwhile, back in Lordaeron.
Hail, mighty Manaroth. How goes the invasion?
Bah! These frail humans offer no real resistance.
Then the Scourge did its job well, unlike some others I could name.
Do not mock me, Dreadlord. I am aware of the Orcs' failure. When I find them, come. I thought you might like to know that the orcs are no longer here.
What? Are you certain?
Certain as ever, Manaroth. My agents at least are always dependable. They tell me that the orcs have landed on Kalimdor.
Kalimdor? But what could they be? Bah! The orcs are mine by right, and I will claim them wherever they choose to run. And you are mine, Manaroth. You would do well to remember that fact. We will watch the wayward orcs and wait. Despite their failure, they may still prove useful to us.
All right, so that is going to do it for now. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy. Have a good one.